So I'm always asked, how am I able to travel and what got me started? And so today I just wanted to go ahead and just share with you my story of how I actually got started into really being able to travel, what got me to this point in my life. Hey, my name's Jason, and if you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me go through Johannesburg, South Africa right now. I've been here for the last 8 months, loving the place. Man, it's really beautiful and amazing. You see, I got the jacket on now. It's starting to get cold here again. Winter is coming. But most importantly, you've been seeing me talk about success, what it is, and how to get it in the three areas of life that I focus on, which are happiness, health, and wealth. And so, if this is your first time watching the channel, let's go ahead and define success for you. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. And that was defined by Earl Nightingale back in 1956, I believe. And so, a lot of times people, they've been, especially if you've been watching me or you've been knowing me the past 8 years of my life, you see me as this world traveler. I go to different countries, I start learning the languages, and then I get really comfortable there and I just assimilate within the society to a certain level. And so I've been in Panama in Central America, Medellin, Colombia, and now I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa. And a lot of times people say, like, you make it look easy. But when it came to me first being able to do this, like, it wasn't easy. Like, you're seeing 8 years of experience traveling overseas, but most importantly, you're seeing like the accumulation of almost 12 years, 13 years of practicing self-love and self-discipline, and really focusing on the things that I want in my life. And so what I mean by that is, like, before I could start doing international travel, I had to start doing smaller things that I was open to doing. Like, if you see any of my videos, I always say, like, there's levels to this, and like there's levels to everything. Like, most of the times we've been, not that we've been taught, but the way, if you ever hear the hero's journey, if you ever read that book, The Hero's Journey, like, it shows you, like, when people are going and they're doing things to reach a level of success, you don't see them. You don't see those things they're doing, because those are the invisible tactics that they do that actually get them to the successful point. And a lot of times, most people don't realize that is what the thing that is actually getting them there. Sometimes people are, like, hey, you got to stay motivated, things like this. But the truth is, there's just things, there's actions that you're doing that are helping you get you there, that are progressively moving you to a bigger idea. And as you hit small goals, it's easier to hit bigger goals. And so, like, you're going to slowly start hearing me transition these stories to just me, singular. It's not that I'm erasing being married out of my life. It's just that I can't keep talking around and keep being that guy that's bringing up, oh, my wife passed away. So I don't want to be that Debbie Downer type dude. So you're going to start seeing me transition a lot of these stories to just me from my perspective. And so, with that being said, like, when I first started out practicing self-love, self-care, 'cause I feel like all of this is self-love and self-care when you do things for yourself. Um, it was hard, man. Like, I didn't think I had the time. I didn't feel like I had the money. And then it just came to one day, like, I really had a conversation with myself and was like, yo, you're wasting money on a daily basis. Like, so there's something that you can do for yourself. Like, figure it out. And one of the things I did like doing at that time was watching movies. So I would go to matinees every Saturday or Sunday morning. Excuse me. And so with that, the matinee, we're talking about a movie and a popcorn for maybe, I think, $8 US, where if you go during normal times at night, you're spending $20, $30 a person or something, because movies are expensive in the US. A lot of people overseas don't understand how expensive the US is. The United States is very expensive to live in, especially when it's talking about doing things for a quality of life. And so with that, I first started doing that, and it was really nice, because it was like, it felt like I had the whole theater rented out, and it was just me in there and a couple other people, and every weekend it would just be us in there. And then from there, I started getting the idea of, like, you know what, man, it'll be nice to not have to cook or go out to places, to people hosting a lot of food for Thanksgiving. I was like, I'm at a place where I'm tired of eating all of this food. Like, I'm tired of being hitting, something we call itis when you get so sleepy because you ate so much. And so for there, I started doing, for like on the holidays where I would just go to a nice fancier restaurant, spend maybe, I think it was maybe 70, $80 a person, and just go there, have a nice meal that was catered to me. And, I didn't have no dirty dishes. And, the other thing is like with Thanksgiving meals, like, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really like eating leftovers that much. I was just eating them because there was so much food left in the house. And so when I started doing that, I started realizing, I can start moving differently. Like it's okay not to do everything that everybody else does. And that just started building my self confidence. And what I mean by building my self confidence, like it started me really getting comfortable with just what do I want to do. I wasn't concerned about anymore about, oh, well, people gonna think you got all of this money or all of these other things that were just in my head the whole time that was giving me these false excuses, these false what's the word I'm looking for? Giving me all these when you're telling yourself all these false narratives and you believe them like they're true. And so like all of those things started to just slowly go away because I started having fun. I started enjoying life. And then from there, I saved up for a cruise, and I saved up for a year. And it was, I really wanted to start learning how to do bigger things. And I admitted to myself I didn't understand money. And so I started watching TV shows around money, reading books around money, and then starting to actually try to manage my money better. So I started setting budgets, seeing how much money I'm spending at different places and all of that. And from there, I realized like there was a lot of things that I was investing money into that wasn't giving me a return of interest, meaning I wasn't getting nothing back out of it. So like eating out at the fast food restaurants, things like that. Just driving around so much and all the money I was investing towards gas, even just leaving electricity on for no reason, just real simple things, detergent, things like that. So like I started making my own washing detergent, things like that, becoming more chemical free. And so after learning how to budget and everything for that year, saved up the money, went on a cruise, and that just changed my life. It took me back to when I was 19 years old in South Korea. And it gave me that itch for international travel again. It was like, oh, I remember I could live outside of the United States because most Americans think most of the world is poor and it's like war torn, and because we only see old images of the rest of the world. Like you look at images of Vietnam, they showing you all those old movies like Full Metal Jacket. Like we don't get all the up to date current images, and like what they show us of the continent of Africa. They make it seem like there's no cars here, there's no houses, people living out with lions and elephants. So, like, Americans don't understand how comfortable it can be living overseas. And so then when I went on that cruise, it reminded me of that. But at the same time, too, it taught me a very, very valuable lesson. And one of those lessons was when I started looking and seeing all the guests on the cruise ship, I started seeing there was a lot of older people. People worked till retirement. They did the responsible thing. You can tell these was hardworking people. I'm not talking about people who were just born with a silver spoon. These were people that was busting their butt off to take care of their family, responsible people. So I could relate with them. And when they was talking to me and giving me advice and things like that. And one of the advice that most of the people that kept telling me was like, don't wait till you're old to enjoy your life. They was like, set out time right now to start enjoying your life. And that really hit home with me because I was looking at my health and things like that. And I started saying like, my health was that of someone who was in their 70s or 80s. I was really sick at that time, over 300 plus kilograms. Had a CPAP machine to breathe at night because I couldn't breathe on my own. Had a cane that I was walking with, mental health issues, a whole lot of things. So like that cruise really, really changed my life because that gave me a reignition of life that I didn't have since I was 19 years old. And so from there, that's how we got started into looking to move overseas because we was like, you know what, man, we can just do this life overseas and we can budget enough and let's do it. So we originally had a 2020 plan, Cece and I, that was our original plan to leave the US 2020. And we ended up doing it 5 years faster, 2015. And we just went out on a limb. We sold everything we owned. There was no coming back. We literally burned all our bridges. And not saying we, harm people like that, but burned all our bridges. Like we didn't have a house to come back to. We got rid of both of our cars. All of our furniture and everything we had sold. Her job, she resigned from it. Everything. So we didn't have nothing to fall back on to the United States, and we were just fully committed to living as nomads or expats. And that's how we got started with it. And from there, I just started each country. I started learning different things like how to move around easier, how to start reading the different signs and the energies of the communities or the countries that you're in. Because you'll be shocked at how much of the world is really the same. Like there's not much different. Even neighborhoods feel the same. Geographical layouts are pretty the same. Graffiti's the same. Like all of those things are pretty much the same. But like all of that started with me starting out first at being able to just start going to matinee movies and doing something for myself. Like that's how progressive and like that's how you climb through the levels. Like you have to sometimes just be willing to do something at your level where you're at right now. Don't make it feel like you got to go and buy Gucci, be in a Lamborghini. Like, yeah, those things are nice. But like, what can you do right now within your budget that's not going to harm you? It's going to actually help you, give you that return of interest. Like when you start doing things for you where you just feel good and you're comfortable and relaxed, even if it's for just a couple of hours, like it creates a headspace. It puts you in like a frequency or a vibration that other things just start coming to you. This is when people start being like, oh, you're lucky. And it's not that you're lucky, you're changing your energy. You're moving your energy into a higher vibration. And that's what emotions are. Like we're supposed to put the energy into motion, moving it. And this is just one of the things like not a lot of people are connecting the dots on this and they're thinking like, oh, it's because I worked hard. It's the emotions you put into it. You literally started putting energy into a more positive motion towards your life. And when I started doing that, that's how I started becoming a nomad. That's how I'm here in South Africa now. Like you can't see there back on the computer screen, but I'm researching some countries where I'm gonna go to in July now. Like this is how I started traveling. This is how I started doing it. Like it wasn't like me having the money to just hop on an airplane and just start going from country to country. Like in the beginning, all I could afford was just going to a matinee movie. Like from there, then, having a special meal every once in a while. Like those little things just started adding up and it started getting me into the emotion and putting the energy there into being able someone who could travel the world. So like, I just wanted to share that with you because like so many times people see the end state of where I am now, but you didn't get to know me when I was building up to this person. And I think a lot of times, a lot of influencers are not as transparent to tell you like, look, this is where it started out at, because it's easier to look at the success part of it or the things that you want right now. But when you can relate to where they started out at, and then you can start seeing how you can start moving that way too, to start reaching your own level of success. I think that's where inspiration is what we need more, which is inspiration, what we need more of in this world right now, because so many of us just don't have the understanding of how to start moving this energy around us within our parameters and move it towards our destiny, the things that we want to do in our life. And so make sure you hit the like button, share this with someone if you know someone that can use this. And also have a great Sunday. I'm about to do a little bit more studying up on a couple of countries I'm looking into before load shedding hit. And I'll see you tomorrow. And just remember, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.